Welcome everyone to another Maine SBDC webinar. My name is Kelsey Reardon and I am with the state's team hosted with USM. And we are very lucky today to be joined with Terri Swanson, who's going to be going over recruiting and thinking outside the box in this strange hiring time that we are living in right now, along with many other strange things that are occurring all around us. So today we're going to go over some tips and tricks for doing the best for yourself and also for whoever you're hiring. And we will be interacting with one another today. So thank you for those who have your camera on. You're under no requirement to put on your camera, but we love to see smiles, as we've mentioned. We do use the chat feature to submit any questions you have along the way. We do have a kind of small, tight group today. So in theory, we can unmute ourselves and get into more specifics as we go along. If you are not familiar with the Maine SBDC, we are the Small Business Development Centers, and we are a federally funded program. So every state has one, and then we have centers all throughout the state. And so our advisors are sort of location specific, but they also each have a specialization. And most of our business advisors were business owners at some point. So they have really specific hands-on experience and can help. So we have food specialists and service business specialists and all along the way. So if you are not already set up with a business advisor, we highly recommend that. It's all no cost, confidential, and a link to sign up for that advising will be in my follow-up email, as well as on our website. It's like a big orange box. You can't mix it. Just hit that button and is the fastest way to get set up with a business advisor. Like I said, I will send out a follow-up email, and that will include a link to the recording of today's session, as well as any resources and all that contact information, like I said. We will also invite you all to join us in 2 weeks, I believe.
No, it's actually next week. Yeah.
Next week for the second session for onboarding. So what happens after you recruit someone? So if you're not already signed up for that, it's the same setup through our website. You'll just want to sign up. You'll get all my reminder emails and follow-up emails. And if you have any questions along the way, you can respond to any email you have ever gotten from me, and it will end up in the same place. Like I said, no need to turn on your camera if you are in the midst of something, driving, technical issues. We know that there's a lot going on with everyone. So we're glad that you're here, and we will do the best we can. And I will pass it over to Terri to introduce herself and get started.
Thank you so much, Kelsey. Hi, everyone. I'm absolutely delighted to be here with you all today. My name, again, is Terri Swanson, and I'm a human resource consultant. I'm very blessed to serve about 30 to 35 small businesses and a couple of medium-sized businesses with a lot of their HR needs. As we know, small businesses tend to do a lot of their own work rather than having positions such as HR or what have you. And so I just assist them with a variety of different types of services around HR. My background is people, and people. I'm passionate about them. I absolutely love working with people from all over the world, to which I've been blessed to be able to do that. And also, I just love personalities, and I love all the different communication styles and all that. So I just really am passionate about people. I also have quite a background in the world of hospitality. I love the hotel tourism industry and have spent quite some time doing that. And so I'm blessed to live in Trenton, Maine, which is just before Mount Desert Island here on the coast, and just very, very, very blessed to do that. To be there. And so I appreciate you all being here today. It's interesting when putting this topic and webinar together. have done so many in the past with PowerPoints. And I thought, we're going to do something different. I genuinely am PowerPoint exhausted looking at them. And so one of the things that just gets me very enthusiastic and excited is just being able to be engaging with the people and have conversations and answer questions that many of you may have today around employees and recruitment, and what are some of the challenges that you're facing, and how can I help you today? Maybe think a little out of the box when we think about recruiting. One of the things I love to do is think out of the box. Like, I always love to think about what if, why not, and those types of things. So I'd like to challenge you today to just have a mindset to where we think a bit out of the box. Just jump on in and ask questions. Don't worry about interrupting. I tend to get really, really passionate about some of this stuff. And so, feel free to just jump on in and say, hey, Terri, I've got a question. Because remember, everyone else will learn from your question. And there is no question that is not a good question. So just remember that. So today I was just thinking, I think you all are very aware of the challenges in the way of recruiting people today to work in our businesses. The challenges range everything from too many jobs available and not enough people to fill them, to this thing called the wage war, which has become extremely challenging. The minimum wage essentially doesn't really exist anymore in the way of trying to get people. We're really not in the competitive market if we're, our wages are at that $12.75 an hour. People are saying all the time, you can get a job today at McDonald's for $15 and $16 an hour. Well, just to plug McDonald's, they got an amazing training program, and I'm a fan of what they do with their people. So I got to give them an accolade on that. But anyway, so we're really challenged today in the way of just being able to afford the wages that are being offered today. And in addition to those wages, we're seeing a lot of sign-on bonuses. We're seeing a lot of year-end seasonal bonuses. We're seeing just a wide range of challenges for those of us that maybe do not have some of those offerings. Seeing, housing available for positions, and especially in the tourism, hospitality industry. A lot of these areas, just such as Bar Harbor, attracts a lot of people because they have housing available to provide for people. And that's a really big deal when you have a seasonal business. And so, there's just a lot of people want flexibility today. And what does flexibility look like when you have a business that opens at 7 in the morning and doesn't close till 9 at night? It's 7 days a week. That's a bit of a challenge. And then, the flexibility, the challenge with flexibility as well is it's the world of, again, hospitality and retail and, those types of manufacturing, and those types of industries really don't have the ability to offer work at home. And so that, again, poses challenges for small businesses, or, again, businesses that require people to show up to work on a day-to-day basis. And so we're really up against a lot. However, I'm very, very optimistic, and I'm still a person that's very excited about the fact that we do have a lot of opportunities that we can do if we just, put together a strategy and think out of the box. There are a lot of really cool things that people are doing that I'm really impressed with. And being in this world of HR and working with so many small and medium-sized businesses, I'm starting to see a lot of creativity that people are doing to attract the right people for positions that they have available. And so before I begin, sharing some of this, I would just like to offer the floor. Did anyone come today with questions that they're hoping to have answered? I like to begin with the end in mind, because I don't want you to leave here today without getting an answer to your question, or at least some conversation around it. So don't be shy.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
I came hoping to find some answers to this employment thing. I've owned my business for 28 years, and I have 15 core employees who have been with me for probably 15 years or more. The rest are newer, but we're having the problem, and it's really just been in the past 2 years, because I in all my years of doing business, I never had a problem with recruiting staff, retaining staff. But, we have people who, we're spending thousands and thousands of dollars on Indeed to try to find people. They either don't show up for their interviews, or we hire somebody, they come to work for a day, a week maybe, and then they disappear. They don't come back. I think we're at a loss of what to do to find people and to find good people. Our choices are so limited. We don't want to have to just hire somebody because it's our only option. We don't know. We're at a loss.
Yeah. And can I just ask what industry you might be in?
So I'm in childcare. I have a childcare center. And I know people think, oh, childcare, low wages, no benefits. Not true for us. We're in Green, Maine, so central Maine. Most of people are making anywhere from 14 to 20 an hour. Most of them are at 16. We offer a 401k that I match. They get a $200 bonus each month. They get a bonus at Christmas, reduced childcare, 2 weeks paid vacation, paid holidays.
Wow.
What else do we offer? We pay for all their trainings that they have to have each year, and they get paid while they're doing their trainings.
Nice.
So
Nice.
I don't know what else to do.
Yeah. So, and these are this is great. And of course I have all kinds of thoughts that are coming to my mind. So I'm going to come back to you on that. Anyone else? And those are just, great. And by the way, wow, you're doing some great things, Amanda. Good for you. Yeah. Anyone else have a question that they wanted, they were hoping to find some more information about today?
Hello. My name is Nick. I own the Lakeshore House Pub and Hiker Hostel in Swanson, Maine. I have a few loyal year-round employees, but I am in the process of trying to hire a new summer crew, and I am halfway there. And, for people to work in the restaurant industry and bar servers in the middle of the state, it's difficult to find seasonal help. I don't want to entertain for now hiring visa workers from other countries. Like I said, I've filled about half of my positions so far by just using Facebook as a means for obtaining applicants. And I have used Indeed last year. And this year, I'm hoping to close my gap by June. I have another interview this afternoon, but just looking for creative ideas that may help me secure the next 4 seasonal employees I may need. My year-round employees are 7. I need about 7 more to run a summer. With all the Appalachian Trail hikers, we get extremely busy between July and August. And right now we're in mud season and things are so slow. My business tends to lose money throughout the fall and winter, and then I make money in the summer.
Nice.
So I'm now trying to not hit zero on the balance sheet, and trying to spend money to hire people is a little bit daunting of an idea.
Sure. Yeah, great one. That's a great. And again, you've triggered. I love just coming, it triggered my thoughts on a few things that I will share with you as well, that I think will benefit Amanda also.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else have a question? Wonderful. So out of the gate, I'm going to say to Amanda and Nick, something cool I saw that I thought was really neat is we tend to forget about, well, let me back up. I did a webinar a while back, and it was titled Re-Recruit Your Keepers. Okay, so we have, Amanda said she's got 15 solid people. Nick said he's got 7 solid people. We forget the power behind the 15 people who work for you and the 7 people who work for you. We in my world would sit around a round table with 4 or 5 of these people, and we'd get a white pad and put it up on our easel, and we would just start coming up with ideas. Like, why would someone want to work for us? Why do you work for us? So you got 3 or 4 people around the table, and you're asking these people, why do you come to work for me every day? And then you're capturing, they start just telling you, and everybody's got a little bit of a different reason. And, maybe they love the environment. Maybe they love the Appalachia, the trails. Maybe they just love the Zen feeling of being in a, environment that offers, great this, great that. Now you've got all of these things on a white piece of paper that you can use in all your ads as to why you're really looking. Now you're telling in your advertising why the people who have worked for you for 15 years want to work here. Well, those are the same reasons why other people would want to come work for you. They would want to come and work for you because the owner, Amanda, cares about us. Okay, we're in an environment today where people are so, people want to have connections. We want to be connected. I don't want to work for someone that doesn't care. So maybe Amanda's giving $16 an hour, but yeah, I could go work at the local convenience store for $17 an hour, but you know what? I want to work in an environment where people care. And so Amanda might say something like, join the 15 committed people on our team who, who experience, a healthy workplace culture every day. Or, your ads that you're putting out there need to speak to me. They need to make a connection, because interestingly enough, the Gallup Institute does studies periodically about the top reasons why people work where they work. And guess what number 3 is? Pay. Okay, people pay. The number one reason people work where they work is because they feel cared for. So Amanda, you said you have this wonderful, great environment. Okay, put that out there. Let people know. Nick, same thing. If you have people that have been working for you for 7 years, let these, sit with them. We forget the power because we think we need to do everything ourselves. We forget the power of a pizza and a white pad sitting around a round table casually with our people saying, I need you. I need every one of you. You're part of my business strategy. And, I want to bring people in here to work with us that are going to be committed, people that are going to feel the passion we do. What can we do to make that happen? So engage your current people. And again, we call it re-recruiting because when people feel that their input matters. And if you think about it, Nick, your 7 people want to work with 7 more people that are of mindset like them. They don't want to work with people that are lazy. They don't want to work with people that don't have are going to be late. So, it's one of those things where I think it's important to capture some of the really good things that you've got going for you and utilize them. My second quick thought for both Nick and Amanda, I saw this with one of my clients. They did a couple of Facebook Lives with their employee who said, like, again, some of the language that came from the re-recruiting your people, to just go on and have like one of your employees that feels comfortable saying, hello, my name is Terri Swanson, or just my name is Terri, and I work for XYZ in Monson, Maine. And let me tell you 2 reasons why you might be interested in coming to join our team. 1, Nick cares. He takes care of us. And number 2, our environment here, at the lodge is incredible. It could be 3, but some, reach out to us and then have that person give whatever, the email address or the a phone number. You'd be shocked at how much these are shared and how they just move around. And why not take advantage of what you already have in your own businesses that we're not tapping into? So I just think, those are ideas. Have the person standing, by the water, or have them standing wherever the background is, desirable or what have you. But utilize some of your own internal resources that we just don't think about. To me, that's thinking out of the box. Because would it be safe to say, Nick, that you feel a bit responsible for recruiting all these people?
We've had some family recruitment in here, and then we've also had some employees bringing friends in the industry. And one of the things that I'm really sensitive to is employee poaching.
Sure.
And when my wife and I bought this restaurant last year, every local restaurant and bar was trying to hire the staff out from underneath us, trying to prey upon them for the uncertainty of these 2 bosses who practiced medicine but are going to start running a restaurant and don't know the first thing about business. And thankfully, everybody stuck with us and saw that although we're not classically educated in the service industry, that we did our own groundwork, and we worked elbow to elbow with everybody in the front of the house and the back of the house. So right now I do feel, responsible because my wife has returned to medicine and I'm trying to run this by myself.
Sure.
And elevated, I gave some of my bartenders a choice to decide who would be my bar manager. And my head cook has become my kitchen manager so that I can delegate.
Sure.
And other tasks have been delegated out. I allow my managers to interview, but as far as the groundwork to getting the interviewees in, that's something I'm doing myself right now. And hopefully in the future, my managers will be trained up enough that they're bringing them in and interviewing them, and I'm getting notes from them as to whether I want to hire these people. But for now, I'm integral in bringing the people in, and that's why I'm here trying to get some creative recruiting ideas from you guys. So
yeah, well, and that's great. And I don't minimize the fact that we feel the need to take responsibility for hiring people because we're the owners or what have you, and I think that's great. But I'm always a person that loves sharing opportunities, and we don't tend to ask as much as we should. If somebody asks me for their help, I feel really good that someone's asked me for their help. And so if you came to your team with a couple of creative ideas, it starts the juices flowing for them as well. And so it's really not shifting the responsibility onto your people. I call it sharing the responsibility with your people. And oftentimes they enjoy doing it. They enjoy doing it. The second piece that I would add that will, dovetail onto that is I also have seen people doing incentive programs. And so if, they put an incentive program together in the beginning of the season or the beginning of the year, and one of my clients has already hired 6 people from this incentive program. And so it's a 3-step incentive program. The employee gets $50 for bringing in an employee that is interviewed and hired and has been there for 30 days. So at the end of 30 days, the employee gets $50. At the end of the season, the employee gets another $100. So that's $150 that this employer is paying internal employees in the referral incentive program. And it's working. It's working well. I just pitched it to a client a couple of days ago, and they are building an internal system as well. And so the thing I like about this referral program is that every 1, 2s, and 3s matter. Okay, and if 1, 2s, and 3s come from 3, 4, 5, 6 other people, then you're up to having hired 10 people. And most likely, we're not going to suggest people to come into our in this referral program that we know aren't going to succeed, or that we don't have some sort of trust in or belief that they can do the position. And so those programs, I think, really help. And while they certainly don't bring you in, the 20, 30 people that you might need, and then it brings in, the 1, 2, 3, 6s. And then the other piece is the more we can engage the people we already have, the more that's helping us to foster a good workplace culture. Praise the people that are bringing in these employees or recommending these employees. It's very useful, and I think it's all of the small things that add up to what it is we're looking for.
There was one question. Do
Sure.
both the employee and the new hire get the money, or just the
No,
employee who referred?
Just the employee who refers. And that's a great question. And I'm about clarity. So if there's anything that we talk about that you need a little more clarity on, please ask the question. But yeah, no, it's just the employee. And we just typed it up on just a little document, so that we want to make sure that when we're doing these referral incentive programs, that we're very consistent on them, and that people get what we say. Because if we don't deliver what we say we're going to do, then it fails, because then people lose, we lose credibility with our people. And, we work hard to be, people, we work hard to earn the credibility of others. And so we just need to make sure, in our payroll systems or what have you, that these are taken care of. Because when an employee has to come and ask you for that, it makes it sound like, I'm not going to refer another one because it was uncomfortable having to go ask Amanda for my $50, 60 days into this. So just try to be very mindful of that. Yeah.
And then the only other comment that we've gotten a long way is someone is hiring your very first employee outside of them as the owner, which I said was very exciting. And I did put a plug for, we have a Steps to Becoming an Employer in Maine e-course on our new digital learning platform. And that is all of the legal steps for hiring your first employee in Maine. So I highly recommend that if you're on your first, but we'll just keep that in mind as we go through today.
Yeah, well, this is great. And actually, I'm so glad that you told us that you're hiring your first employee, and congratulations to you. it's exciting. It's kind of like making your first dollar. You know, you get your first person. It's in the next level. And I think this next part that I wanted to share with you all today will be very useful and helpful. Who was the person who's got the first person?
I believe that their name is Katahdin, which is
Okay.
great, but maybe that's a business name. So that's what they're listed under here.
Sure. Well, that's all good. But so I'm a firm believer, and again, having been an HR director for many years, I love to have a strategy. I feel like when you don't have an action plan, it's false start. And so early on in my tenure of being an HR director, I had another very, very wise senior vice president HR say to me, you know, make sure every year, Terri, you have your strategy. Certainly be mindful that you may have to, pivot and go in a different direction because something, but at least have some sort of a strategy. And so part of the strategy I used to put into place is I would always start out with, you know, what's the position that I'm looking for or that we are looking for? Okay, so if the position, Nick, I'm going to use your business, is you're looking for a server. Well, I need a job description because I'm going to hire a server to come in here, and I'm just going to tell them what I expect of them, but that's not really rightful. You really need to have a job description so that you know you're looking for a particular person with certain skills, and you know you want somebody with some customer service, and you know you want somebody that has in some enthusiasm, and you know it takes some certain traits to be a server to be a successful. So really important, the job description doesn't need to be perfect, but it needs to have some sort of what are the expectations of this job, what are the duties and responsibilities, and what's the position. And so I always just tried to make sure that I would begin with understanding what the job is that you're looking to hire, because maybe if it's the back of the house, maybe they don't have to have that personality plus, but if it's in the front of the house, they need to have some sort of personality plus type thing. The other piece I would say is what's the wage range or the salary that I'm going to connect to this position. And so it may be that Amanda said, 14 to $20 an hour. Well, that might be that you're looking for, maybe you have 5 experienced daycare providers. You're really looking for an entry level daycare provider. Well, that might be at the end of at the beginning of your wage, that 14, 15. Well, you know what? So then if I were seeking, and again, I'm switching positions here, but if I were looking for a entry level daycare provider, then now I've identified what their job description is basically going to be. I've identified, this is more of a $14, $15 wage. I already know I'm probably not going to be looking for someone who's the main supporter of a household, because that's just not realistic in the way of that. And so why spend your efforts on Indeed, which is a professional, more, it's a site that people are looking. You might not need to spend that money. Like I would think that what I might do is I might reach out to some of the community colleges, early education, programs. I might reach out. I might have one or two of my gals or guys that are, the entry level, do a little Facebook live for me and just tell why they love working for you and what a great opportunity this is to begin growing and developing your skills as a childcare provider. Or they might give a couple of plugs that say, if you're someone who is studying pediatrics, or if you're someone who's, working in, early childhood education, this is a great place for you to come work. So spend your energy putting your resources into the area that you think you're going to have the best return. Because, I mean, when you put a position on Indeed, I don't know about any of you, but I call it inundated Indeed, because you can put one position on there and I'm a fan of Indeed for all the right reasons, but I mean, you can get inundated with applications and it's so overwhelming. I mean, you got people from California, people from Florida, and it's a $15 an hour job. So chances are someone's not moving from California, but by the time you take your time to go through all that, it can be a little overwhelming. So I just think it's important, what's the position, again, what's the wage, and then, based on what I'm looking for, where are the best places for me to try to recruit? I went to a job fair last week, and it was over in Belfast, Maine, and the Macrum potato plant had burnt down, which is so unbelievably sad. And there were so many people, dislocated workers from that. And I was just like so excited to see how enthusiastic these people were. And so many, it was a great turnout. And my client ended up, hiring 3 people from this, but it was the market. My client is manufacturing. So it was the right place for them to be, because they knew it was going to already be similar to what manufacturing, even though it's different product, is similar. So we were really just trying to make sure that we strategize on, the who, the what, the how, because really that simple process can help us to just determine what it is we're looking for. And we can be more descriptive. We can be more creative or resourceful in the areas of what the position is that we're looking for, as opposed to, just not having a plan of action and then going out there and utilizing time and resources and what have you, that you really are not going to reap necessarily any fruit from that. And then again, share your strategy. Once mine was completed on some of these, I would send an email to all of my managers with my exact strategy. And I would say, does anybody have anything that they would like to add to this? Rarely did my initial strategy, which by no means wasn't, etched in stone, but rarely did I not have people responding. And then, they too got excited. They too had suggestions. They too had ideas, and they really work. They really work. I'm trying to be mindful and ask any questions or thoughts on anything so far that I've shared. Yep, good deal. Awesome. I have to just, our workplace cultures are so unbelievably important. And, I think some of our biggest wins in my time of being an HR director was when we changed our workplace culture from a landing dock to a place of choice. And it was really, really, really a big turning point for us. And when we think about being a place of choice, it means that people are working for us because they choose to work for us. And they're not working for us because we all need a paycheck. Please don't let me even remotely minimize or undermine the fact that I work for a paycheck. We all do. But what are some of the things that we're doing in our businesses that are more than just a paycheck? because those are also great, great, great recruiting strategies. They're great recruiting tools. Amanda, I love that you're at a place where you're doing a matching 401. That's very desirable for people. And it's interesting, this is just a quick plug, but I would also think that I'd be visiting some of the PTCs or the parent teacher committees or what have you in my local areas, because a lot of these moms serve on the PTC, and they may be stay-at-home moms. You know, even if it were seasonal positions or what have you, like that immediately comes to mind for be the top on their mind all the time. You know, send little note cards to the PTCs around you saying, you know, hello, my name is Amanda, and I'm honored to take care of children, you know, and am looking for some people, because they're you know, their minds are in children, with children. So that just came to my mind as I was thinking of that. But thinking about our whys is very, very important. You might just spend, you know, 15 minutes jotting down, why would I want to come work for you? What are some of the perks that you give your employees? Amanda, you shared some of them. Nick, it's always great to give some of the perks of, you know, maybe you do a team meal before the restaurant opens. You know, we value our people, and, you know, we all take a meal together. You know, it might not sound like a big deal, but I can assure you it really is, because that to me says you believe in your people, you believe in bringing your people together. It speaks to me in a sense that is, you know, you're a culture that honors and respects people coming together. And that's important in today's world. One of the hotels that we had a very wonderful restaurant, one of the hotels that I worked for. And every day at 4:30, people came into work at 3, got everything all ready for the evening. And at 4:30, there was always an employee meal. And everyone got together, and it was just a great time, you know, kind of like a team huddle, you know, kind of thing where everyone got to eat, and we did it together. And you know, everybody was just a great, it started the evening off in a great way. And manager was able to have you know, 5 minutes or so just to debrief everyone on the evening's functions or whatever was going on. It could be in the morning, it could be a cup of coffee and a muffin. You know, there's various different things that we can do to help enhance the why people come to work for us. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. I also think, you know, it's important that we make sure that we're a company that provides the resources our people need to do their jobs. That too is very important. When we do just, and I know this is a little bit, you know, a little off from recruiting, but it is part of, recruiting is part of our whole overall business plan. And so the areas, you know, that I touch upon in the workplace culture are so important. Next week, when we, you know, switch topics and we start talking about onboarding new hires and employees, you know, there's a variety of these types of things that I'll share with you that are also very important for people to know in the way of onboarding. But it goes back to the company culture. And, you know, ads, when we put an ad in the paper, I helped a client of mine, she's a jeweler, and she's a luxury jewelry store that facilitates memorable, creates memorable experiences for people. And so we put her ad together by starting out sharing a little bit about who we were, such as, you know, we are a luxury jewelry store creating memorable experiences for people celebrating special moments. And then the next sentence said, who are you? Creative, professional, committed to exceptional customer service. And then we had one other adjective in there. And then the next sentence said, might we be a match? And so it was creative in how it flowed. And it was really, really cool. She got 3 great interviews from it and hired the right person. And so we asked the person for feedback, you know, how did you hear about us? And it was, she said, I saw the ad and I loved right out of the gate that the ad said, luxury jewelry store. And she's like, I love dressing. I just like being fancy. I really enjoy the environment of a professional. And when you say the word luxury, I already knew that this was a good fit for me. So Nick, yours could be, you know, we are a, you know, and then, you know, give a few cool adjectives to describe who you are. And then if you're looking for someone who enjoys nature, you know, it might be, are you someone who enjoys, you know, being nestled in the woods with nature, serving people that are seeking, you know, experiences in the woods or what have you. And then if so, again, might we be a good match? Because we're really looking to make sure that when we're recruiting the right people, which goes back to the first comment that I made to you regarding what is the position. You know, it connects back to the position that you're trying to fill. And so how many times I hear people say, I say, well, who, you know, what do you say you have 6 positions, you know, who are you looking for? And they're like, anybody. And I'm like, oh, okay. So if the person is upright and breathing, you're hiring? And they're like, well, I mean, you know, I want them to be able to, I mean, they're going to be working my front desk. So they have said, okay, so you are not looking for anybody. Okay, be specific, have a mind, picture what it is and who it is that you're looking for, because so often people make they'll make a hire, but it's not a good fit. And it's not a good fit because they didn't have a clear vision of, you know, who it is they're looking for. I mean, you all have to agree, I probably wouldn't be a great coal mine worker. You know, I mean, I just don't even know where that's coming from, but I probably wouldn't make a great worker in the coal mine, or, you know, there's, you know, I could weld if I had to, but, you know, there's certain positions, you know, that I'm probably not going to be a good fit for. We want to avoid making the wrong hire. You know, and so when we are recruiting, the more clear and concise we are with what it is we're looking, I mean, with what the position is we're looking to hire, then I feel like we tend to attract, you know, we speak to the people that we're looking for and not necessarily the people that we are not looking for. If you have flexibility in your, you know, workplace, that's great. That's a huge benefit today. You know, occasionally when we, you know, are recruiting, we can, you know, we have some flexibility to make, when we were recruiting for housekeepers, we interviewed a couple of people, and a couple of ladies, and both of them, I recall, could not, they couldn't have a 7:30 start time because they both had children and they needed to get the kids on the bus. So we were very quick to say, well, you know, maybe we'll do an 8:30 start time for maybe 4 people and just start them in a different section of the hotel, as opposed to the first and second floor, which seems to be the ones that, you know, we need to get checked in earlier. So we had to be creative we had to be flexible. And if that's the only accommodation we need to make to get these two amazing ladies to whom are still with this company 8 years later, then we need to be open-minded about these types of things, because it's going to benefit us in the long run, especially if we can hire that quality person.
So we've got about 10 minutes left. So we definitely want to make sure we're answering any other questions.
Yep.
So feel free to plug those in the chat or unmute yourself. This has been great so far.
Yeah, is this useful? Amanda, I'll jump in. Is this useful for you?
Yeah, I've gotten some great ideas from you, and I'm really glad I attended this. I definitely want to attend next week, because I just feel like, again, I mean, we also do a 4-day work week. So, we try to be flexible with things. We're offering a ton of things. It's just maybe how we're marketing. Like I had said, I've done this for 28 years, and it's probably still the same thing that I used 28 years ago to recruit. I love the idea of talking, getting a whiteboard. I do staff meetings and I always buy dinner, but maybe turning it so that these people who have been with me know, I mean, I do things to show them I appreciate them, but maybe involving them in this will be huge. I mean, I would love to hear what they have for ideas, and because they're probably different perspective than mine, where I'm not really in the classroom anymore. They may have some things that I didn't really think of.
Yeah. I love I just love you sharing that, because that's really, truly already your mind is opened up. And I think that that's what happens, is those creative juices start to flow when we open up our minds. I will almost guarantee you, that you are going to be very surprised. I highly recommend that you be very open to any feedback, because sometimes people might say things like, we're still doing things the way we've always done them. And your response can just be, you're absolutely correct. And it's the only way I've known. But I now have a more open mindset, which is why I'm here today. And if you do that, people will start to feel really valued. And Amanda, you only need to come out of that meeting with one grandiose idea to make a ginormous difference in your business at the cost of pizza and conversation. I mean, I'm going to choose to believe you're going to come out with more than one, but I'm just saying the one idea that you come out with will really, truly, it'll alter, it'll change, and your people will feel so much more appreciated. They'll feel valued, respected, that you would, ask their opinion. Yeah, it's a win-win-win. Yeah. Nick, how about you?
Just had to unmute myself. So this definitely gave me some quality enhancements, I think, for our job listings, and maybe some ideas to market in a different way on Facebook. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
And maybe I won't need to try to get people from California off of Indeed and just I've been doing, but just do it better.
Yeah. And Nick, don't be afraid to tell your story, because I tell you, we're attracted to people's stories, meaning, how you came about there, and, you're just looking for great people to come and experience, a wonderful season. You mentioned you have competition around you, and you mentioned that, poaching of other people's, employees. And right out of the gate, you can differentiate yourself, make yourself unique by sticking true to your character. And that's why people want to come and work for Nick, because, he's the real deal. This is the kind of leader I want to follow, is the person that dares to go out and do what he needs to do to get the people and not necessarily, taking someone else's employee. I think it's very important that we just be mindful of that, because integrity is extremely important in the work that we do. Respect, obviously, is also, something that we just, can never minimize. And so we can't do anything about what others do, but we certainly can do something about what we do, what we, ourselves do in the way of being respectful. We had a lot of competitors around us as well. And, we wanted to make sure that we had the right fit. Sometimes a disgruntled employee from one business wasn't always a good fit for us, because there was usually reasons why they were disgruntled. And oftentimes it would be behavioral challenges that we didn't want to take on either. Yeah. Something I've always done, I just share this with all of you as business owners, because I find, respect is extremely important to me. I have never terminated or fired a person in all my years of HR, but we've ended a lot of relationships. We've ended a lot of work relationships. And so those two words really don't even they don't even enter my thoughts, because they're just a negative. And to fire someone feels so demeaning, but to end a work relationship with someone because it's no longer a good fit is such a much better, respectful, I feel like, it's the more right thing to do. And so I just share that with you, because many of my clients, say we need to fire someone. And I said, well, if you're asking me to be part of it, I don't fire people. We end work relationships, and we do it to the best, in the best way that we can, which is, in my opinion, the right way, respectful, with integrity and kindness. And it just always serves us very well. So I just like to share that little piece with you, because again, when you're trying to be an employer of choice, then you want to try to do the things that you can do that continue to attract good people to you. And reality is, sometimes there's not a good fit. Catherine, what's your question?
We had just mentioned Indeed. We've mentioned Facebook. Are there particular social media sites or particular resources that you recommend for online advertising?
Yeah, and thank you. And that's another really great question, and I appreciate you asking that. And so the big ones right now are, on social media wise, is, websites and Facebook. And with Facebook, there's a lot of the local communities have built job sites, such as Jobs in Maine. I mean, it can be like, Mount Desert Island area job board. And you can find them by putting in the local town or the area that you're in. And a lot of people are posting jobs on those. I highly recommend the Maine Job Link, which is done through the career fairs. We've received a lot of great employees by building relationships with our local career centers. Those are just, I probably have 10 connections. I know them all on a first name basis. When people are coming in to seek jobs, because we have a great relationship with these people, they immediately are like, hey, Terri, we've got 3 people looking for summer jobs. One is, looking for kitchen work, and they would always send me people. And I have to tell you, it was a really great resource for us. But again, we built relationships with them. And, local chamber of commerces, lots of times they have an area on their website that rolls. It just it's a continuous roll, and we would be on those as well. And if you're a member of the chamber, that came free. And so again, newspapers, I'm not in any way opposed to them, but I just don't know that people are really going into the newspapers for ads anymore. That's going to be more of a generational, mindset. So again, go back to who are you looking for this particular position? It may be that you need someone that is, more mature. It may be that you're looking for a particular generation. I mean, if it's anything to do with technology, my children are Gen Z, and, there isn't anything I can't get them to do for me in the world of tech. They're not so excited about getting out on the front line. And so, I think about that, in the way of recognizing the type of person that you need. But anyway, the top ones, again, Indeed, Facebook, Facebook Live, the local online job boards. We've hired so many people with my clients in these local job boards. And again, at your little round table, ask people, what are some of, are you aware of some of the job, local job social media sites? Because I would learn from them just by asking other people. I would say, well, where are you posting jobs? Just out of curiosity. But of course, I had an agenda. I'm not afraid to ask questions.
Hey, I haven't added anything yet. I've just been listening, but I did just want to let everybody know that I was getting a lot of great, we had gotten all of our employees off of Facebook, well, like a couple off of Indeed. We're a cleaning company out of Southern Maine. And we found out that Facebook delisted jobs from, you can't search for jobs on Facebook now like you used to be able to with Marketplace. And so the only way that you can get your job out there, you can still post them, but the only way you can get your job out there is by sharing them like you were talking about. So ours had completely fallen off and we just didn't know, we didn't get the memo.
Yeah, Eli, that's great advice. I mean, thank you for sharing that. And I do appreciate it, because I do know that some of them are a little bit trickier than others. I have a couple of clients whose employees built a little Facebook page for them. And it looks, I'm just saying, rather not suggesting we do anything, in the way of illegal or anything unethical, but, they managed to put a site together and put it up, and, they've had good luck from it. And she offers the employee that's managing it, an extra little stipend for doing, a bit extra work for her on this. But yeah, you could
like a hiring page for like on Facebook, you mean?
Yeah, well, and they're creative about it as well. And so it's an employee who's saying, hi, my name is so and so, and we're looking for teammates to join us this summer at XYZ. And then she gives a little pitch about the perks of working there and what she loves about it, and put it out there. And she ends up getting people responding, saying, hey, how can we apply?
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's how that's the only way that we've been successful lately on Facebook. I was just mentioning like the way that we used to get most of our applicants was by like them searching for a job on Marketplace as if you were buying something.
Yeah.
But now that's not just an option.
Yeah.
So yeah, that what you were just talking about is definitely has become our main focus when we're looking for applicants on Facebook.
Yeah, this is
something
great.
like that, or posting to local job boards like you were talking about. That has been our success so far.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been, and that's a great one. It's been successful for a lot of people.
We are a little past time, so we just want to be respectful that if you have to jump off, don't worry about it. I will be sending out a follow-up email with the recording and all that, but think we're happy to stay on and answer some more questions. I will say, just from running the Maine SVDC Facebook page, I have noticed that if you're promoting an ad, so if you're boosting an ad that is a job, or there's a couple of things, it's called like a special ad, and you have to click that button that you understand that the employee listing is a special ad. And if you don't press that button, it will flag it, and it will reject the ad essentially. And so we actually sometimes get flagged, like one of these events was flagged because it sounded to them like we were hiring in this event and I didn't specify. So keep that in mind if you're paying for ads on Facebook, that if it's rejected, I usually click the like review and that sends it back to Facebook to be like, no, this is real. But it's helpful to keep the vocabulary that you're using in mind when you're creating that listing, and to just make sure you hit that special, I think it's special placement ad or special something ad. Sorry, I don't know the exact name.
Yeah, great. Well, I hope this has been useful and helpful for you all. I genuinely appreciate all of you joining us today. And, I admire each and every one of you, because as a small business owner myself, I can tell you, I don't even have an employee yet, but I will eventually. And so I just know that it is important that we make good choices and good fits. Because when we bring someone in to our businesses that are not a good fit, I think you all know that it can oftentimes pose a lot of challenges for everyone else. And so, I hope the information we shared today is useful. And I so hope to see you all next week again with us as we discuss the next phase of onboarding new hires, because it's incredibly important. It's actually as important as recruiting. And so, because once we get them, what do we do to keep them? Yeah. And so we'll have some good conversation around that as well. And I'm just curious, I'm just going to ask Amanda, I'm just curious, did you like this forum as opposed to a PowerPoint, what have you?
This was way better. PowerPoints, I tend to be, I get distracted easily. So this was great because I could take the notes that I wanted. You gave me a chance to ask questions and interact. This was perfect.
Okay. I just wanted to ask that feedback because I too feel the same way. I attend some webinars occasionally, and I always end up having all these questions, but I never get them answered because I'm like, oh, I'm not going into the chat or what have you. And so, Katahdin, I really appreciate you, jumping in and sharing that as well. Because this is the same forum we're going to do next week. I just think it's much better. And I think we all learn more from each other's questions. And, just as a presenter, this just, and it gives me so much, it invigorates me to get to see everyone and not read from a PowerPoint. Yeah.
And as a moderator, it makes my heart sing how involved everyone has been today. So I love this. Thank you all. Thank you, Terri. We're getting lots of thank yous in the chat as well. A couple of people had to jump off, but they all said thank you as well. So Nick, go ahead, whatever.
To speak to the PowerPoint thing, I practiced medicine and gave medical lectures at times.
Yeah.
And medicine world goes over the top on PowerPoint. You kill your audience by reading your slides.
No.
It takes a 5
Is that your medical opinion? Reading the slides kills? Yeah. I agree.
Because like it takes them 5 seconds to read it. It takes you 20 to read it out loud, and that you lose them in that 20 seconds. Like let's look at the slide, give anecdotal stuff with the slide. Don't read people your presentation because that's where people fall asleep on you and they're like drooling into their coffee and stuff. So
I agree.
It was nice.
I appreciate that. I really appreciate that feedback, Nick. I really do, because I too just like engagement. And reality is, if you're going to take the time to come and join us, I just like to know that we, I'm a Stephen Covey fan, and I like his second highly habit of effective people, begin with the end in mind. And so I wanted to begin with, what are your questions, so that when the end is over, you got them answered. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. I wish you all a fantastic day.
Yep. And keep an eye out for my follow-up email. I'll make sure the link for the next session is in there as well if you're not signed up. And we'll see you next week. Thanks, everyone.